All right, listen to me. This is the first video of my first new channel since I don't know when, that deals with, for lack of a better word, law. Law matters, crime, because most of the time you think of crime when you talk about the law. You're not thinking about administrative law or antitrust, or no, you think about crime and that sort of thing too. Maybe some civil, but crime, criminal law. That's what you want. And let me tell you something from the bottom of my heart, okay? From the bottom of my heart. The stuff that I hear and have to endure in the media, it sucks. Is that a term? Yes. It's gravitationally. It's the worst, the most boring people describing some of the most interesting and fascinating subjects in ways that are so monumentally, incomprehensibly dull, I will never understand it. I don't know why they do it. I don't know why they get so professorial. What you want to know is not necessarily the law. You want to know reality. I'm a realist. I'm not here to tell you the way things should be, the way things ought to be, the way things used to be. I'm telling you about the way things are. And I'm going to try to blend for you this thing called psychology and sociology and human behavior in this thing called law. Juridical matters, jurisprudence, legal, whatever you want to call it. I've been a lawyer for 40 years. I was a prosecutor. And God, you got to, cut your teeth somewhere in a MASH unit in Florida, where not Florida. See, you're used to Florida. You vacation in Florida. I'm from Florida. And I saw stuff that I've never seen. And I became and was a trial warrior in front of juries. And the first rule of being a good lawyer is stay away from juries. They're dangerous, because if you're going to a jury trial, somebody screwed up. This is not good. Either the state's asking, if you're a defense lawyer, either the state's asking for something ungodly and you've got nothing to lose, or you've got some 3 strikes and you're out, guideline sentence, minimum mandatory, something that forces you, or, which is rarer, you've got a really good defense and you're going to force some jury to let you go. And then you got to understand this notion about when do you have a bench trial before a judge and when do you go before a jury. And I love juries and I respect juries. And I want to tell you all about this. And I did this talk radio, started this thing in 1988. Okay? This is when I first started. And I was here at WABC in New York, worked with Rush Limbaugh when we saw that come. And the event, the moment that changed my life, O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson was the greatest moment. This was pre-social media. And I was doing morning drive at WABC. And on a Friday night, I remember I happened to have on, and I don't even watch basketball, it was a Knicks game. And somebody was, I forget what's his name, he was doing a free throw, and all of a sudden we break in for this information or breaking news before we even had breaking news. Now Fox News breaks, everything's breaking news, developing story, everything's breaking news. The noise and the sweeper, and they make these noises, breaking news. I think it was Stalwart. Anyway, he's doing this, and it was a slow-speed chase, one of the greatest oxymorons of all time. It was O.J. Simpson. Remember this? O.J. Simpson in the back of this white Bronco with AC, Al Cowlings. He had a suicide note, .357 Magnum, $10,000 in cash, and they called it a slow-speed chase. I called it he was getting away. It's called he's trying to get away. He's fleeing. It's called flight. What are you talking about? He's getting away. He did it. So I went on the air Monday, And I said, "You see that thing with O.J. Simpson?" "Yeah." "He did it." "What?" "Yeah. He's called flight. You can even read it in the jury instructions," which I explained. Anyway, make a long story short, we were off to the races. I got a call from Charles Grodin. I was on this show, that show. It was it. We had the highest ratings anybody's ever seen. And it showed me for the first time how people never had this explained to them. Never had explained it. Do you know what hearsay is? Do you know what a trial is? Do you know what cross-examination is? You know what the good movies are? The good, give you a little bit of a upcomer. An upcomer. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. My Cousin Vinny is one of the best movies ever. One of the best, most accurate movies ever about actual trial work. You know that Murdaugh, whatever his name is? One of the worst. What were they doing? I would have loved to discuss that with you, saying, "What are you doing? Did you hear that cross-examination? What was that?" You see, what I want to do with this channel is to talk about that and liability. And this thing called liability. I want to talk about new statutes, new penalties. How about the decriminalization statute for sex work? What could go wrong with that? No bail. The right of self-defense. Having a gun. When can you use a gun? How many of you have ever heard that stupid number one piece of advice that everybody always says? "You know, I talked to this guy. He's works for the 1-2, the 1-4, the 3-5, whatever's here in New York. And he told me this. He said, 'Now listen, if ever you shoot somebody outside your house, remember.'" Now, what's the answer? You know what the answer is. I don't even have to tell you. You've heard this. It's stupid. If you shoot somebody outside your house, what? Drag them inside. One of the most stupid things still said by people to this day. We go over the lunacy of that. How about this? How do you get off of a jury? That's my favorite. "Oh, yeah. I just tell the judge I want to hang him." And the judge says, "This is a civil case." "Sure, but if maybe a hit, maybe, a whiplash to you, but I want to hang him." What are you talking about? No, you're missing the point. There's a beauty to this. And some of the stuff that may sound really kind of boring, like negligence, it's interesting. The rules of evidence, my favorite. Hearsay, cross-examination. Leading questions, direct examination. Well, hearsay is the best. That'll be a 2-week project right there. That's the greatest thing in the world. Relevance. How do you argue a case? Relevancy. Materiality. Objections. The classic objection. I mean, there's more to this. What about the cops? Do cops know the law? Yeah. Not like prosecutors do, because they've got to clean up the mess. And the defense lawyer, what about this one? How can you defend somebody you know is guilty? Because I'm a criminal defense lawyer. What are you talking about? I had, when I was in private practice, just initially I had this card made that said, "Practice limited to the defense of the innocent." Nobody's. What does that mean? Yeah, but what if you know they're guilty? Uh-huh. Can you represent them? Yes. Can a doctor suture somebody up who was involved in an armed robbery? Yes. Can a priest hear the confession? Can a restaurateur, can a waiter take the order of somebody? Yes. What about Epstein? What was that all about? Ah, what are the questions they didn't ask that you would ask? Okay, now we're getting somewhere. You want to talk about other things? Other matters? There's a lot that's going on here. And the thing that I promise you is I don't want it to be boring. And I want you to start commenting on what you want to discuss. What are some of the questions you have? This is the very first video, and I'm going to ask you questions. Things that I wonder. things that make me say, how does that work? I don't want to go into politics unless it's relevant. For example, Donald Trump, President Trump, he's got so many cases coming at him, it's not even funny. Now, some of them I've got a friend of mine who says, it's a stupid case. I don't think it's stupid. There's a lot he's got to worry about, big time. Now, when you tell people that, they say, what, you don't like him? I never said I did or didn't. That's not what I'm talking about. Do you want to hear what's going on? Harvey Weinstein, one of the worst travesties ever. Do you like Harvey Weinstein? It has nothing to do with it. There's similar fact evidence, all this. I hate this stuff. Sentencing guidelines, the worst. The worst. January 6th. You see, I'm going to let you in on a secret. And remember this. If ever anybody asks you a legal question, no matter what it is, I don't know why they would, but assuming they would, can I sue this guy? If a drone, if I look outside and somebody's got a drone outside my windows, taking pictures of my teenage daughter, can I shoot the drone out of this guy? Can I shoot this? Can I go over to, whatever the question is, whatever the legal question is, the answer always is, it depends. Because it depends. So I'll tell you the J6, we'll talk about that. But not from the political point of view. Not the Tucker Carlson, it's no big deal. No, it's a big deal. It depends. What are you talking about? You know, just speaking very quickly, you know the case, the crime you got to worry about for that? Or that's the most applicable? Sedition. Seditious conspiracy. What? Read the statute. I don't read the statute. I just think I know what sedition is. No, you don't. Read the statute. And I love bad laws, stupid laws. So let me just say this. Comment below. What do you want to talk about? What are the cases you think are interesting? But not from the usual. I don't want to talk to everybody else. I want to go, and I want to tell you the truth. I'm a realist. Good or bad. You might like Trump. You might hate Trump. I don't care. This Jean Carroll case has me worried. Big time. The Stormy Daniels, Dusty Saddles, whatever her name is, nah. That's a joke. And I'll tell you why. But it's not why you think. It's not because I don't like her or like him. It's the charge. It's, how do we say this? It's what he's being charged with and how you prove it. And is it worth it? And what's going on? What about these prosecutors who are letting people go? Is Soros buying these people off? You hear this all the time. Can you do that? Is crime really as bad as it is? What would you do? Oh, we're going to talk about that. So subscribe. Tell your friends. Let's get this thing going, okay? Pump up those numbers, because it's all about metrics, baby. So we can do live stuff and, oh, yeah. Just wait. And I want to take your questions. No holds barred. But understand it. Legally. It's not about politics. It's not about who's in and who's out. If somebody's guilty, they're guilty. If somebody's is exposed civilly, fine, I'll tell you. If there's something that I think is stupid, I'll tell you. There are some things that I think are absolutely horrible that are being done to people I detest. But the Constitution is my only guide. That's it. I've said enough, okay? So do me a favor. Join me. Subscribe. Like this video. And hit the little bell, well, to let you know when there's new videos coming up. Oh, we're going to have a good time, all right? And comment as you see fit.